Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
We are back, joined live by Suzanne Fensin. Excited to have her. She's a spiritual mentor, soul blueprint illuminator, author, and friend of the show. She's here to really inspire us and to help all of you seek your purpose. Welcome back today. For those of you on the regular podcast, we're also on the Zoomcast, so I get to see her face to face, which I love as well. Pleasure to see you here today.
Thank you, Jill. It's good to see you too.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been a life purpose coach for over 20 years, and I am a soul blueprint illuminator and a spiritual mentor. And I am passionate about assisting purpose seekers break through the challenges of feeling lost and confused and frustrated at not knowing or being able to achieve their soul mission. So I provide coaching services that provide quick and empowering results for them.
Fantastic. And how can we reach out to you?
You can connect with me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Alignable, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And if you join my email list at Suzanne Fensin, there's a free gift for you there. So again, my website is SuzanneFensin.com.
Great. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the conditioned self. We're going to start there. What is that specifically? Would you mind starting with an explanation on that?
Sure. Well, to kind of rewind a little bit, today I'm going to talk about how we can shift away from being ordinary to becoming extraordinary. And we do that by discovering and embracing our authentic self and understanding our conditioned self. The conditioned self is our ego mind, and it's going to keep us safe. It's not going to want us to step out of line or do anything daring, try new things. And so it's pretty much a limiting mentality. Whereas when you step into your authentic self, that's where you actually are able to create a reality. So in previous podcasts, we went over gaining clarity. And so now that we're learning how to do that, we're getting clearer on the many different aspects which keep us small. And we're realizing to what degree we're operating from that conditioned self or the authentic self. So I'll just briefly go over the conditioned self. So with the conditioned self, when you're operating from that aspect, your ego mind is running the show. It's there to keep you safe, and it's operating in a known reality. So taking chances and trying new things freaks the ego mind out. And this internal battle ensues between your soul's desires and your beliefs. And then this shows itself as being bringing up fear. You hold yourself back. You worry about what others think of you. You're isolating yourself, or you're procrastinating on getting things done. You have negative thoughts. Maybe you see yourself and others through fear, or you feel like the universe is against you, or that life is happening to you, which is the victim mentality. And you may feel tense and your breathing could be constricted. So when you go through this list, ask yourself, how many of these things can you relate to personally? Now, being in your conditioned self creates tremendous amounts of stress, which damages your adrenals and your whole endocrine and organ system. So this is where I was when I completely collapsed, and it took years to recover and I continued the daily practice to this day, because it starts breaking down your whole body. From a mental perspective, it creates fear, bitterness, and depression. And then conditioning, when you think about what conditioning is, it's a disconnection from your unique essence and your spiritual connection. So we each have an energetic frequency that reflects our authentic self and our conditioned self. So when we're in our conditioned self, our frequency is lower. We're not able to step out of the merry-go-round that we get ourselves on mentally. The authentic self, when we're in our authentic self, we're much more expansive in the way we see things. We're willing to take those chances. So I've put together some questions that you can ask yourself to see if you're operating from your conditioned self or from your authentic self. Now, most of us are operating from both at the same time. So these
Oh, I
questions.
got to figure this out. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Everyone listen up. We got to get ready for this. Okay.
Okay, so there's 5 questions. The first question is, do you speak your truth or do you go along with what others to fit in?
Okay.
A lot of us do that. We feel pressure from our peers to do that. Number 2, do you show those around you how you really feel? Are you afraid to show your emotions? I know a lot of people who do that. Number 3, do you allow yourself to do what you really love? Are you listening to what others think you should do, or are you being controlled by them?
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, do you live according to your ethical standards? Are you being asked to do things that don't feel right for you?
Hmm.
I think a lot of us are feeling that in our workplaces these days because we're being told to do things that may not feel right.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5, do you feel trapped by others people's beliefs? So that kind of plays into the cultural, the societal conditioning, familial conditioning.
Yeah.
This comes into conflict with who we are and what we're here to do. So you may ask yourself, okay, so yeah, that's me. How do I release these belief structures so that I can truly be my authentic self?
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing that you can do is look at the rules that have been passed down through the generations and ask yourself, do you agree with those rules? Are they right for you? Are they serving or limiting you? And this is a really important question. Are you willing to question or transcend your beliefs that were created from those rules?
Hmm.
So some people there's so much pressure to continue with that belief system. It's really hard for them to transcend the situation because they don't feel strong enough to be able to transcend the beliefs.
Interesting.
And then be conscious of your daily routines. Really stop and think about what your habits and practices are each day, because beliefs become embedded in your mind and life because your habits and practices keep them alive. So a lot of the patterns, the daily patterns that we have routines. And so it's always fun to just kind of step out of the routine and see where it
Yeah.
takes you. And then take some time to rewrite your beliefs. If you have special beliefs that you're keeping within yourself, and you're showing the world another set of beliefs, then take some time to write down your personal beliefs, because writing it down makes it real.
Yeah.
And then optimize your state of living, having those big, juicy goals, but don't tie your happiness to those goals because you should have
Should.
your happiness first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And then live in bliss. Create a discipline for leveling up your bliss every day. Practice gratitude and forgiveness
Yeah.
and giving every day. When that circle is completed, you're giving and receiving. And that makes things so much easier to live your life authentically.
Wow.
And then create a vision for your future. We've touched on this in previous podcasts. So this is where you ask yourself what you want to experience.
Yeah.
How do you want to grow as a human being?
And
And what is your contribution to the world? What do you want that to be? What's your legacy going to be? And then once you have your vision, don't let anybody mess with it. Find something that you can do so that you can be rock solid within. Be strong. Be strong enough to weather any storm that comes up. And
wow.
then ask yourself, what is your quest? Go
Yeah.
beyond just living in the world to actually changing it.
Oh, this
That's
is
conditioned self.
no, absolutely. Wow. This is a lot. This is great, though. Just to remind everyone who we're talking to, can you tell us your contact information? It's good to point it out. Suzanne?
Yeah, SuzanneFensin.com is my website. I am a life purpose coach for over 20 years and soul blueprint illuminator and spiritual mentor. And like I said, I am passionate about assisting purpose seekers in breaking through their challenges to achieve their soul mission. And
Mm.
I am on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Alignable, LinkedIn, and YouTube.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here. And also, just to let you know, again, today's topic, we're talking, well, in regards to the conditioned self. And also, we're going to talk about the authentic self a little further. And again, we'll to put these two together. And now, is it okay to have both sides? Or, right? Like, what's
We all have both sides. It's part of the whole process because as soon as we think that we've gone completely authentic,
yeah.
something else will come up and it'll pop us back into this conditioning. So it's part of the growth process.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Good. All right. Good. 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 I'm like, whoo.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I got some conditioning going on.
Yeah, and you mentioned the importance of like writing things down, journaling, getting it out there. Could you just give us some examples of how you've helped people? I mean, this is our first Zoomcast, so I think it's important to share some of your work that you've done and, how you've helped people find their true, authentic self.
Well, I have come across several people who have such strong belief systems, and that journaling has really helped them because they can actually see what's going on inside of them.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're running up against the belief systems, it's kind of like the hot and cold hitting against each other. And there's a lot of mental strife that takes place because you're trying to determine, okay, is the belief system really the good thing for me, or what's happening inside me that isn't working with that belief system. So the journaling really helped. And I have had a couple of clients who's journaling, and journaling doesn't necessarily have to be just writing. A lot of people have a problem with writing stuff down. You can just maybe note words, what
Okay.
emotions are coming up, just jot down those emotions, and then go back and see what a pattern is developing. I've also had clients who have scrapbooked their emotions.
Okay.
And that was beautifully done. I was really impressed with how it all came out. And it just kind of helps them get past that writing limitation that they felt that they had. But it really does help to bring out those conditioned feelings that you may not even be aware of.
Yeah. No, absolutely. All right. Thank you so much. So let's continue the conversation then, authentic, the true self, and what else we can learn from this and how it could help and benefit us with what you do, Suzanne, to help so many people.
Okay, well, talking about the authentic self. Now, the authentic self is that main objective to expanding your consciousness. So when you're operating from your authentic self, it allows you to express yourself and move forward. So you're able to take positive and consistent action towards your goals. Your thoughts are expansive and positive, and you're hopeful about the future. You see yourself and others through love and feel energetically light. You feel empowered and co-creating with the divine.
Mm,
So you actually feel like you're
actually,
positively affecting your life.
yeah.
You breathe more expansively and your body is more relaxed and open. And you take care of yourself through loving actions. So those are pretty much the basics for determining if you're operating in your authentic self.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can ask yourself, well, how many of these do I relate to? Where am I here in this little spectrum?
Yeah.
So when you're working through your authentic self, you understand that you are a spiritual being having a human experience,
Mm-hmm.
and that spirituality is the source of your healing. So intuition is an important and genuine source of knowledge, and you no longer struggle with depression, anxiety, relationship, and health issues. And you realize that the core of your healing is holistic, which is directly
Mm-hmm.
to your authentic self and addresses all levels of mind, body, and spirit. So this helps you no longer feel disconnected from yourself or from the universe, because so many people feel like they're just lost. And that's because they've disconnected from that authentic self.
Yeah.
Now, when you're in your authentic self, you realize that abundance is the core of your nature. And you are meant to be aligned with life purpose, and life is expansively and deeply fulfilling. So there are ways that you can practice being in your authentic self. And so I can list those. There's about 8 of them. We'll go quickly in case we run out of time here. So number 1, we connect with spirit. So it's, I would say, take about 30 minutes a day just to be present with your thoughts and what's going on in your environment. Just be still. If you can't do 30 minutes to start out, just start with 10 minutes and work your way up. It'll get easier and easier. And then number 2 would be expressing appreciation for yourself and for others.
Yeah.
There's so many people who do not do that. And then they question who they really are, because they don't understand that they're doing some really amazing things every single day.
It's so true, right? Yeah.
And we don't give ourselves credit for it.
Yeah.
So they have a lesser view of themselves.
Yeah.
Number 3 would be make a list of your successes. And you can do this daily, no matter how.
I'm writing this down.
Oh, sorry.
I'm making my notes as we go too. Thank you. It's helpful, really. So if see me looking down, because I'm writing. Go ahead. Next.
Okay. No,
Thank you.
I'm a note taker too. So no matter how insignificant your daily tasks are, these can be considered successes. And this was a game changer for me. I was always beating myself up because I wasn't getting enough done. I had these lists of things that I need to get done, and I could never complete those lists. And I just couldn't figure out why. It's like, oh my gosh, something's wrong with me. I can't get this done. But then when I actually started noting down everything that I was doing in a day, I was mind blown. I was like, whoa, I didn't even realize I was doing all this stuff.
See?
So, and there's a lot of people who fall into that category, especially women. Okay. Number 4 would be release trying to control yourself, others, and outcomes of situations. So this is where you would move into faith. You would laugh more, find fun things to do, watch funny movies, tell jokes, visit with friends, share something funny with them.
Okay, got it.
Singing your favorite song or dancing to your favorite song. And that's part of the whole, change the energy up, get things flowing and moving instead of the same thing over and over again. Number 5, you can ask yourself, what's more important than being connected to your authentic self right now? Practice feeling those authentic feelings and bring love and compassion to them. We're always so hard on ourselves, and those authentic feelings really deserve some love and compassion. Number 6 would be tell yourself the truth from spirit rather than believe the lies of your conditioned self. That ego mind is just going to keep chattering and chattering, and it is very tricky. It's going to trick you into believing things about yourself that's not true. And ask, what would be loving for me right now? Ask yourself that. Just that helps with some of the self-care, getting the self-care started. Okay. And then number 7, give your cares and worries over to spirit. We're all familiar with that phrase, let go and let God. And it really helps to just let go. And that allows the universe to start the creation process. As you connect in through your authentic self. And then the 8th one would be to hug someone and accept their hug in return. I don't think that we hug each other. I don't know that. I think maybe we should have classes in school or something about how to hug someone, because we've so gotten away from touching. There's those air hugs, and everybody wants to, air hug, and I have a chiropractor who tells me 7 hugs a day is what you need for good health.
Yeah, absolutely right.
So yeah, we're learning how to hug each other again.
Yeah.
Mm, And
Aw,
then, yeah, so if we have time, I could go through some dialoguing process to
sure.
align with the authentic
Please,
self. Okay.
please.
So when you're wanting to be in your authentic self, the first thing that you'd want to do is make a conscious decision to attend to your feelings and do this dialoguing process, which is about moving into compassion and curiosity with yourself instead of judgment. We're really quick to judge, but if you stop and you ask a question, well, why is that happening? Why do I think that? Where does that come from? That really helps you to connect with your spiritual connection, which is connecting in through your heart. And that soul connection is through your heart
Yeah.
and connecting in through the energy centers in your body.
Mm-hmm.
And then you want to dialogue with your feelings.
Yeah.
So ask yourself, are you conditioned or are you in your authentic self right
Yeah.
now? And I have a mentor who suggests that we, every 15 minutes, which it can be kind of hard to do that, but every 15 minutes, check in with yourself. What thoughts are you thinking? Are they conditioned or are they authentic?
Mm-hmm.
And then as you dialogue,
Yeah.
seek to understand why you're feeling the way you do. Plus, you're looking for limiting beliefs and fears that are generating your feelings, or ways you're treating yourself that are creating your feelings. So you can actually take yourself back to where you first started feeling those conditioned or limiting beliefs and start understanding the basis of where these things come from. And then once you understand that, then you can clear them. But if
Yeah.
we don't know where it's coming from, it's kind of like a shot in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
So bring in the truth to those feelings and from your spiritual connection, and get clear about the loving actions or what you want to do or say and do for yourself from what you've learned from that dialoguing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so you have a little game plan going now.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, wow. Thank you for that. You continue. Go ahead.
Welcome. You're welcome. Oh, I think we're okay with
We're good
the
on
authentic
time.
self now.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay,
Yes.
good.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, good. So kind of as a little summary, if you doubt yourself or feel frustrated at not being able to achieve your soul mission, the information that I give throughout these podcasts summarizes the complexity of your journey and insights into why you haven't been successful. So many people think they're going to go on this journey by themselves and they're going to get it done. And some people do succeed. But for most of us, we need a helping hand. And so that's why it's very helpful to have a coach or someone who really knows you to help hold your hand through the process, because it's messy.
It's going to be. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I could only
There's,
imagine.
there's a lot of work to go through, and that's why it's such a good idea to have support and that third party to see things that you can't see because we're so close to it. So yeah, so I have a just a little short story to tell. I don't know. I guess we have
Yes.
time.
Tell. Go.
Okay. So I
Yes.
have a friend who recently had this major breakthrough, and she has been having some health issues, and she kept telling herself that she couldn't even begin to achieve what she wanted to until she was well. And she wouldn't listen. Numerous people were telling her, no, you really need to change your mental attitude. You need to look at it from a different perspective. And she just couldn't see it. She couldn't hear it. And then one day, I don't know, we were in a conversation and I told her, you got to stop expecting to be over your illness before you help people, because that illness
Yeah.
is actually an aspect
Yeah.
of how you can help other people.
Yeah.
And ding, the light bulb went off.
Mm-hmm.
She was so amazed that she couldn't see it herself, even though so many people had told her already to some degree, this was what was going on. So now she's committed to taking that chance. And it's a little scary because it's kind of a weird way that she had not looked at it before. but she has actually started her own small business now, and she's helping others overcome their ailments. And she's so happy that much of her frustration has been reduced, and even her physical symptoms from the illness has been reduced. So we're hoping that as time goes by, this mysterious illness that she's had goes away too. Yeah. So it works. It just, it's the right circumstances at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely. And as an author, could you I want to hear the book. Tell us.
Oh, yes. I have a visionary fiction novel. It's called Gaia's Emissary, and it's available on Amazon in digital format. And if you're interested in a paperback, just email me and I can send that to you. So what it's about, the main character's purpose journey and how he looks around at this chaotic environment that he's living in, and he's learning to expand his spirituality and creating the life he desires from his heart in very magical ways that he would have never even dreamed of happening before. But as you expand that spirituality and you connect with Source, amazing things can happen.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. All right. So hold on. Again, if you're just tuning in, I know we're close to the end of the show. We have 3 minutes left. Suzanne Fensin joining us here. And as you know, the one thing I just like to add, and I always ask you this question, but new listeners every time. What is a soul blueprint illuminator? You're the first person I've ever talked to who is this, but I just want to point that out because I mentioned in your intro, that's also explain that process concept that you are able to.
Well, it's really cool because when we're born and we're named, the person who names us is being telepathically communicated to from our soul. So they know what to name you. They may not think they know, but the name comes through from a telepathic communication. Now, the name, based on the sound of that name, is coded with special codes that actually give you your soul blueprint. And that includes the challenges that you come into this lifetime with, the talents that you're going to use to transmute those challenges, and then the goals that you're going to set to help you move forward in the way that your soul wishes you to experience as much as you can to expand. And so your whole soul purpose, everything is right there in your name, and you never even knew it.
Yeah.
So I decode that process, and then we work through those challenges and go through this whole process that we've been talking about in these podcasts.
Love it. And again, SuzanneFensin.com, SuzanneFensin.com. And how did you want to leave off to your listeners today and viewers?
Take the chance. Just do it. Get out there and do something different. Get the juices going, and really, really dream. Go for those dreams, because there's a reason why those dreams are there.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for inspiring us, talking to us again. And Suzanne, do you want to leave a phone number as well?
A phone number is 408-843-8953.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time, for joining us here, occupying space, and making us think different and think about that authentic self more. And you got me thinking. I took my notes with all my steps here, and I hope our listeners start working on it too, because it's it's interesting. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here, joining us. And now we'll be right back with more. Don't go anywhere.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.